In 2020, the COVID pandemic sparked a frenzy of demand for certain things.
There was ventilators, later on it's test kits and the vaccines as well.
I think we were the only company having a test available.
We probably didn't care how it all arrived. But this behind-the-scenes work impacted millions of lives.
We needed to ramp up our production 50 times.
The speed at which everything was moving was extremely fast.
3 years later, that need for speed might feel like a distant memory to most, but it transformed how goods get around. Specifically medical goods, strengthening a bond between industries dedicated to life-saving products. Today, that link has never been stronger. And that's why, as we look at every step of the trade process, Western Europe is the last stop on our journey. With a partnership between two companies that depend on each other. Here in Germany, QIAGEN specializes in clinical diagnostics, producing hundreds of different testing kits for 500,000 customers worldwide.
We are literally delivering in the whole world. I mean, across more or less all countries. I think overall there are just 2 or 3 exceptions where we have not delivered into yet. And we are producing tests that are looking for a very specific virus, for example, the coronavirus. But we also have tests available that measure at the same time up to 20 different viruses. And with this information, of course, doctor can make a much more educated and informed decision about the right treatment.
Most medical tests work by taking DNA and comparing it against a sample. And that test has to be extremely accurate. Otherwise, the results are useless. Because QIAGEN makes these with biological substances, production must be contamination-free and temperature-controlled at all times.
The temperature here is minus 20 degrees. And of course, if we take it out, we need to ensure that the cold chain is not broken. That is why we are making use of the dry ice. So the dry ice is coming into the boxes, and then within the boxes we are assembling the kits, and right away it goes back to the cold chamber, and that ensures that the cold chain is not broken.
The cold chain means maintaining that exact temperature throughout the kit's entire life cycle, from the moment it's made to the moment it's used. QIAGEN has complete control of conditions under its own roof. But once kits leave the door, the cold chain is out of their hands.
We need to have a lot of trust in our logistics partner. And there are not many partners that can fulfill those requirements. Storing products at different temperature levels, shipping products at different temperature levels, and UPS is a perfect match for us.
Most testing kits leave QIAGEN in refrigerated trucks, destined for this UPS hub, about 90 kilometers west. This site doesn't just handle any old package. It belongs to an entirely separate division of the shipping giant called UPS Healthcare, which only handles medical goods.
There's really a strong need to support and take away the complexity from the pharmaceutical industry or the medical device industry, so they can focus on what they're really good at, making the best products, and we can focus on the complexity to deliver that quality to the patients.
This 45,000 square meter hub was custom built for the cold chain, both inside and out. Freezer farms can keep shipments as cold as the South Pole, reaching temperatures of -80 degrees Celsius. Specialized packaging helps them stay that way. But ideally, nothing remains here for too long, given the site's strategic location near an international airport and 3 ports.
From here, within 24 hours, we can reach 80% of the European population.
Although this site opened in 2009, UPS Healthcare coincidentally launched in 2020, just as the pandemic was taking hold. That December, the company delivered the very first COVID vaccine authorized for use in the US. The company had already committed to the cold chain because demand predated the pandemic. Temperature-sensitive medicines grew twice as fast as the total market between 2017 and 2022. But the unprecedented speed of COVID vaccine development created an unprecedented need to keep them cold. And within 3 years, UPS Healthcare doubled its footprint, with 225 facilities across 36 countries.
With COVID, it just became accelerated. And if you look at cold chain in the industry, more than half of the products that are currently being developed require that cold chain.
Several global logistics companies cater to this cold chain demand, which doesn't come without costs. The healthcare sector creates about 5% of global carbon emissions, with over half of these stemming from supply chains. Anouk says UPS Healthcare is addressing these concerns. This building, for instance, runs entirely on electric energy. And back in Germany, QIAGEN's partnership with UPS is actually helping the company further its own sustainability goals. A few years ago, QIAGEN considered handling its own cold chain logistics. But by leaning into UPS Healthcare's expertise, they were able to transition to greener packaging.
Because we know we have a strong partner with UPS that takes care for the logistics, we can focus on sustainability throughout our entire supply chain. This is a green alternative to styrofoam boxes. It consumes 50 times less energy during production. With this measure, and among some other measures, we were able to reduce our plastics by 30 tons last year in the distribution area.
There's no doubt QIAGEN delivers important goods. But in our globalized world, how they're delivered matters too.